Anticipation for this one?
Yeah, excited to be back home. Just like kind of felt like one of those games where pucks were bouncing the wrong way for us, and just missed execution on some scoring chances and whatnot. But yeah, just felt like one of those games.
How much do you think the team played into this game?
Maybe. I mean, everyone's got a tough schedule. They did the same travel as us last night, and it's everyone's tired and banged up, and you just got to find a way to push through that. And hopefully the day off tomorrow will help with the big week coming up.
Do you think that too much emphasis is being placed on getting the puck to Cole so he scores?
I don't think so. I mean, he's finding good spots, and we always try to look for him. I mean, he's a great goal scorer, and he had a lot of chances tonight, just didn't go in. So, I don't think anyone's trying to force anything to happen. I think we just gotta, just continue to play, and it'll happen for him.
What was it like to learn that you guys qualified this afternoon before the game?
What was it like?
Yeah.
I mean, it was great. Coming to the rink, everyone was in a pretty good mood, and it's been our goal ever since we started camp to get back in the playoffs, and we secured that. But I think we got big games up ahead to try to get home ice and possibly first in the division. So still a lot of work to be done.
Is that a big target for you guys?
Happen as you might be mixing and matching with certain guys. So yeah, I mean, the more you play with guys, the more you get more comfortable. And so yeah, play with Matt, Lane, Arbs, Struge, Daub. I think the more reps you get, the more comfortable you get, and you've been doing it for a bit now, so you get more comfortable as time goes on.
Kaiden, what did it mean to you guys learning this afternoon before the game that you had qualified for the playoffs?
Yeah, it was cool. Kind of weird clinching a spot before the game and then losing the game you play that night. It's kind of a weird feeling. Definitely a lot to be proud of this group, and this last couple weeks has been great, and took a huge step as a team, I think, in a lot of different areas, but still got five games to play, still got to play for home ice, so these 5 games are still very important for us.
And all the friction tonight, was that a result of last night? Did that bleed over at all? Or?
I don't know. It was kind of a weird game. I think we just couldn't really generate much. I think both they give them credit. They have a good team. I think their record doesn't really show for what their team is. They have had a couple injuries middle of the year. Some unfortunate things happened, and they kind of fell back and dug themselves a bit of a hole. But they got all their guys back. They're a good team. So they made it hard on us tonight for sure to kind of generate anything offensively.
Is this a typical game that a team plays after such an extended road trip? I mean, why is that first game back always so tough?
I mean, you're on the road. You're kind of bouncing around different cities, kind of on the go all the time. I don't know. It's tough to kind of you got to try and stay on the road when you come back to these games. It's tough, but again, just kind of just an off night. I don't think really to look into it too much. I think we still did a couple of good things, and just it was hard to generate some things offensively tonight. So thank you.
What was the energy like in the room just before the game, knowing you clinched?
We're working on all the details in our game, and specifically in the neutral zone and defensive zone. I think we're getting a lot better at that and closing plays quicker, especially in the neutral zone, and having our D gap up. And communication is obviously a huge part of that. And I think that's why you saw so much success on that little run that we went on. But like I said, we're clinched, and we're trying to build on home ice advantage, and obviously getting ready for the playoffs as well.
With 3 more games to play at home this week, do you feel there's an extra pressure in the first line and the first power play to give Cole his 50?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I don't know if you'd have to ask Cole, but I mean, you don't score 49, for as a mistake. He's been a goal scorer his whole career, and I think it just takes one shot to go in. And last game and tonight, I don't know how many shot attempts he's had in the last 2 nights, but exactly. So it's bound to go in, especially when you have that many goals. So they just got to keep shooting the puck and doing their thing, and they'll be fine.
How does it mean for this team to qualify with games to spare?
Yeah, it's definitely a different feeling from last year when you're going down to the last game to try to get into the playoffs. So, but by no means that we want to take our foot off the gas. We still got something to prove, and like I said, fighting for home ice. So every game's important from here on out.
How do you balance that with also resting, making sure everybody's healthy for the playoff? Is that something you think at all?
No, not at all. I mean, we're all healthy, and the guys that are in the lineup. So we're trying to win as many hockey games as we can and compete as much as we can.
How odd was it to find out you guys are all
Bonsoir.
Bonsoir, Martin. Vous aurez rarement vu, offensivement, peut-être aussi amorphe que ce soir cette année. C'est un peu la nature humaine avec tout ce qui est arrivé. Vous qualifiez après-midi en plus.
Je peux pas dire exactement c'est quoi, mais ça fait beaucoup de hockey qu'on joue à un assez bon niveau. Back-to-back. On revient d'un voyage. Tu te réveilles de ton nap puis tu as clinché un spot. On n'avait pas notre balle rapide à soir, tu sais. Puis, mais c'est pas comme si on a mal joué. C'est qu'on notre exécution n'était pas là. En fait de structure, là, on n'a pas mal joué en fait de structure. Là. Mais côté exécution, on manquait notre balle rapide un petit peu. Puis pourquoi? Je peux pas vraiment te l'expliquer. Je pense que c'est bien des affaires, mais la journée de congé demain a fait du bien, puis on va continuer.
Vu que tu coaches, je sais pas si peut-être tu fais pas de sieste, là. Tu regardais la game des Red Wings, tu m'as dit ça après-midi?
Ben, je me suis endormi, je pense que c'était 4-1. Je me suis réveillé. C'était 4-4. Fait que j'ai écouté à la fin.
Martin, il y avait un buzz dans l'édifice ce soir par rapport au 50e de Cole. Quelle sorte de pression ça peut ajouter un joueur, puis penses-tu que ça peut modifier la façon de jouer de cette équipe?
Je pense que tu vois, les gars, ils cherchent beaucoup, là, tu sais. Je pense que ça l'affecte un petit peu la continuité de certains jeux, puis moi, j'ai très confiance qu'il va en marquer 50. Mais j'aurais aimé ça, c'est sûr. Là, on aurait aimé ça s'asseoir à soir, là, pour bien des raisons. Là, qu'on passe à d'autres choses, puis qu'on donne ça à la foule. Ça aurait été le fun de donner ça à soir. Mais c'est sûr, ça, j'ai vécu ces affaires-là. C'est normal.
Une deuxième, le fait que vous ayez clinché, qu'est-ce que ça va changer dans ta gestion de ton banc puis la gestion des énergies dans les derniers matchs de la saison?
Ben, moi, je pense pas que ça va changer grand-chose. On est encore d'une place où on peut gagner notre division, on peut aller chercher l'avantage de la glace à la maison. De baisser le niveau puis d'attente, puis là, mais de dire, OK, là, les séries commencent, il faut remonter ça. Je pense que c'est un piège, ça. Faut que tu fasses attention. C'est sûr, si les gars ont de bobo ici et là, ça se peut-tu qu'on aide les gars? Ça se peut, là. Mais je pense qu'on veut aller, je suis très fier du groupe. On a atteint notre but, quelque chose qu'on parle de 6 mois, là, au camp d'entraînement et tout. Là, on a une opportunité de ne pas être satisfait et essayer d'aller chercher quelque chose encore plus gros que notre but. Puis c'est là, pareil, fait que c'est... On va être calculé, mais je veux pas baisser le niveau, puis après ça, là, dire qu'il faut remonter ça, là, les séries commencent.
On the nights maybe when the speed or energy isn't there, what do the priorities still need to be?
I think it's stay in your structure and have the intentions of playing inside our principle, which I thought we did. We just didn't, didn't execute, and it happens.
Marty, you don't win 8 games at this stage of the year without establishing yourself as a good team. To get to the place that you were talking about with Marc-Antoine, what are the steps you need to take to keep, not just maintaining, but pushing it to another level? Especially now that you're being tested with the schedule and all the stuff you talked about in your first answer.
I feel like our standards keep going up since I've been here. Like every year, I feel like we raise the standards and our good is really good. So the challenge right now is, can we keep finding consistency in that? To me, if you have that consistency in that, I think our good is good enough to keep playing hockey, in April and May. So to me, that's the challenge. I don't think we're not going to reinvent anything here. Obviously, there's always some pre-scouting. We're going to, in the playoff, you're going to play a team in a, best of 7 series. There's some strategic stuff that might be more important than the actual structure. You have to try to position your team, make adjustment, throw curveballs inside a series. Like, those are things that are part of that. But in terms of how do you keep pushing the group, to me, it's just with keeping it there. It's not necessarily like, I feel that playoff people, everybody kind of raises, and it happens organically. I don't think a coach needs to raise that in the playoff. I think it happens organically, But can we play with that consistency that we've been playing with through a 7-game series, knowing that we're going to make adjustment here and there and throw curveballs or whatever. I mean, that's it's definitely this league at this time of the year in the playoff. It's a cat and mouse game a little bit, and we're going to have to do that. But I like where our standards are right now and how we've improved in different departments of our game, and we got to stay on top of it. We can't just be satisfied because that part of our game is good now. Like, you still got to stay on top of it. I said it before. If whatever part of the game is never going to stay the same. It's going to get worse or better. So you got to constantly talk about it, and that's what we're doing.
Steve and Arvin? Marty, as you said, obviously it would have been fun to win tonight. I was just mentioning to Josh Anderson before, the last game before you took the job here, he talked about how it wasn't fun coming to the rink anymore. And you came in, that was your first, you've said many times, was trying to make it fun. How fun has this journey been for you, if that's the right word, to get this team to where you are now 2 years in a row in the playoffs?
I don't know. I mean, that's the most fun. I think it's the journey itself. It's not like where I am today. It's the journey itself in anything. There's some ups and downs, and that's part of the journey. And you need the down to really appreciate the ups, and that's life. So to me, it's the whole journey. I've seen a lot of these kids grow together, and the love they have for one another, and the commitment they have to the group versus the individual. It's been so fun for me to watch. The last 2 years, I feel we've switched from learning how to play together to learning how to win. And I feel like the defensive part of the game is a big part of learning how to win. And I feel like I'm proud of the group, talented players committing to that part of the game, which I think it's a hard thing as a coach to convince your most talented players to play that part of the game. And I feel like we have a group that's willing to do that, and that's why you can go on 8-game winning streak, at this time of the season.
I know you didn't play a lot in the third tonight. You're chasing the game, but since Arber's come in, I'm just wondering what you've liked about what you've seen from him. We've seen him late in games when you're ahead, which we weren't seeing before. Like, what are you seeing from him?
He's looked good. I think he's looked confident. He looks like he's trusting the game, his read, the game that's in front of him, and I think he's trusting his teammates around him too, and vice versa. It's not easy to any player to sit, and Jocko's been a true pro, knowing that the guys are playing really well, but then he got an opportunity to go in. He was excited, and I thought he's played well.
Just brings an element. You talk about getting ready for the playoffs. I think there's certain hardness that comes with that. When you watch him kind of playing within himself the way he has since he came back into the lineup, do you see that as just an added element to a group that maybe could use that?
Yeah, we could all use some big guys that can be physical, defend, fight if they have to, But I don't just look at Arber as a guy that's going to drop the glove. I think he brings other stuff, and I feel like he's done that since he's been back in the lineup. And there's definitely I feel like at that position in his role, I feel like it comes with experience and maturity, and I feel like I've seen him do that this year.
Bonsoir. Tu as joué avec Vincent Lecavalier qui a marqué 52 buts. Je pense que tu étais très proche de lui à l'extérieur de la glace aussi. Les gars sur ton premier trio ont l'air aussi très proches. Comment tu trouves l'équilibre? Tu dis les gars cherchent beaucoup Cole, puis je pense que c'est normal, tout le monde veut qu'il marque son 50e dans l'équipe probablement, mais comment tu trouves l'équilibre entre OK, on veut que ça se produise, on veut pas affecter l'autre côté de la game non plus?
Mais je pense que tu n'affectes pas nécessairement l'autre côté de la game, mais je pense offensivement, Je l'ai vécu avec Vincent. Je l'ai vécu avec Stamkos, 60 buts. Il a scoré 60 buts sa dernière game. Il a scoré son 60e en troisième période. Il y en avait 2 ce game-là. Puis je peux te dire que j'ai pas eu beaucoup de lancers durant la fin de la saison. T'sais. Fait que je pense que ça t'affecte plus dans les situations offensives. Parce que tu le cherches, puis tu essaies de donner du temps de se démarquer, de s'ouvrir et tout. Fait que ça change ta lecture du jeu un petit peu. Puis j'espère que les joueurs peuvent... parce que si tu restes pareil, là, mais ça va être plus facile de l'avoir. Si tu continues de chercher tout le temps, des fois, ça devient plus difficile ou de jouer la game. Fait que c'est pas mal ça.
Excuse-moi. Juste un petit mot sur ton appréciation du travail de Josh Anderson, Zachary Bolduc dans des matchs qui sont de plus en plus intenses physiquement.
Non, ils sont physiques, ils amènent... C'est 2 gars qui peuvent amener beaucoup de pesanteur parce que c'est des bons patineurs. Puis tu sais que c'est que Josh peut faire en plus. Il n'a pas peur de personne, il est tout le temps là pour que tout le monde... c'est des joueurs qui sont fatigants sur le forecheck. Fait que... non, tu as besoin de ça.
Non, ça va être ça, ça va être tout. Pas de questions.